Oh my goodness.
Oh,
You, you always make me laugh, Jason. So today, guys, I'm here with Magazine has a Maritimer, our one of our most favorite Maritimer stars, Jason K. Roy. With you and your name, we always just kind of think it's super funny because you have the same initials as us, JKR. So
mm,
I've never met anybody with the same initials. And I think when I first followed you, like ever, because this magazine is based in Calgary, maybe you were kind of shocked. Oh, wow, you guys want to talk to me.
I
And I
was.
thought,
Yeah.
yes, I remember our first interview. I was listening to it just before I got on the phone. And you were saying as well that since like 2021, 22, you've done so much more. You showed me your resume the other day, and I was like, what? You are killing it. And really the time for me to put you up as a leader of tomorrow is now. And I thought, wow, isn't that weird that I thought about you like that? And you've been really working hard, and I've been seeing your posts, and you're so humble with the way you do all of your posts, and just adorable, and we love your face. So Jason is a multimedia artist. Okay, he can paint, he charcoal draws, so you can actually buy his art through him on his website and everything. And one day we want some of your art on our wall. We love art, as you can see on the back. We've got like a lot of
Yeah.
band posters, but so
You want to
that's
fill them
really
out?
cool. That's very cool that you do that. But you're also an actor, and that is never easy in Canada, and especially where you are in Newfoundland and you just moved. So congratulations, you guys. He lives on a beautiful property now, and he, is unattached. So I think you have set yourself up ready for just to do that. Just kidding. Anyways, it's been a pleasure to have you in our magazine in our last two issues. And now we have Jason in his stories in our issue is coming in, guys. So we want to chat more with you about how you've been doing in your acting career.
Uh, that was very flattering. Thank you.
Well, you are a very flattering kind of person to us. And if people don't know you very well, we've said to Jason himself, he's one of the most respectful artists we've ever got to work with. So there you go.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. That's it.
No, we want to know everything that you've been up to.
Uh, I just have to point out, as much as I love the province, I'm in New Brunswick, not Newfoundland.
Shows how much we
I've not
know.
been.
We
I've not.
we knew that, but we said it wrong. So sorry.
No, it's flattering. Like I would want to come from. I'm happy I come from New Brunswick, but Newfoundland. I've seen just a portion of Newfoundland. But yeah. So, what was your question?
Well, just we want to know everything
How?
that you've been up to since we've last chatted with you. It's been, quite a few years, but
Yeah.
your resume has grown so much, and we just wanted to know, like, how have you been doing that? And you do all your career all by yourself, actually, as well. It's very inspiring to the readers to the style of career that you've created for yourself and how you've done that.
Uh, I've been doing great. Thanks for asking. I, I I don't know how it happens, to be quite honest, how it happens that I get gigs or I get invited to audition, and I say that because I've never actually, like, I didn't purposely pursue wanting to become an artist. Um, and I'm thinking back to when I was a teenager, and I'm just being brutally honest there. I've never pursued it. Um,
You got invited to be on a short, right?
yeah, but like way before that, like just the arts to me, I didn't think that'd be part of my wheelhouse in my life. Um, but I know for a fact I've always had like a certain sensitivity when it came to the arts or artists, or I've always been very curious and to whatever degree creative, but I've never pursued it. It's just honestly things just kind of happen out of need. Um, like as it in my late teens, I started writing, and I didn't necessarily wanted to start writing. I didn't like set myself up to um, I wasn't looking for like a hobby or a pastime. I just had a need to write, and that same type of need, that's the same thing that happened when I started doing photography. And eventually, I had a dark room, and I did dark room work, and eventually, I started singing and songwriting, and acting was the same thing. I wasn't pursuing it, um, and visual arts the same thing. So things are very cyclical, but there's no I didn't pursue any of that.
Wow.
It's
Do you feel like you were meant to do it now that you're doing it, or that you
Yeah.
stumbled upon and oops? I feel like you were meant to do it because you have a great personality for this industry. You do it from your heart and you're
Mm.
so organic about how you're doing things. I was looking at your reel and wanted to kind of play that a little bit for the audience. Something that's really cool about you is that you are, as you say, yeah, you speak French, and that's a huge thing. And you've done quite a few commercials and projects where you're speaking French. So being
Yeah.
versatile and having multiple languages, I think that's wonderful to let people know, guys, that's such an asset in film and TV. So don't forget that. So here's a little bit of a clip of Jason. He's so cute, you guys. Oh my goodness. I can't even. Here we go. Start first, okay? You've not been yourself lately. De l'année. Tout le monde rentre toujours. Et là. Entrez pour des prix familiaux. Lui fait son choix. N'importe quoi en rouge. Je l'aime. Oh. What's your dollars? I can make you a nice bouquet for $30. How am I gonna come up with 40,000? What isn't she? And it goes on, guys. And it goes on. I will.
It's so funny seeing that because that last clip I was wearing this huge. That was like my that was
Dark
that,
radius.
that was my second film. Like I had never been on a project like of that, to me, of that magnitude at that time. To me, that was big. Um, uh, I can't remember how I think Gia Milani, the director, wanted me to wear a sweater or something in that scene, and I don't know, I can't remember where she pulled that out from, but it's like a triple X large, just big wool sweater. Like you could fit like six of me in there, and and we've become good friends since then, and that sweater is always like the running joke. I don't know where it is. I wish I had it.
Okay, well, I would love to talk more about the roles that you've been in your career. So let's talk about your most recent your year of 2024. What have you been working on?
Um, well, tomorrow morning I'm in studio. I'm doing voice dubbing, French voice dubbing for a documentary on it's on Unis TV5, and I'm doing voice dubbing for multiple characters, and it's all French. It's the French translation. So that's tomorrow. 2024. What have I done? I've done a lot of voice work, voice acting. Tomorrow dubbing. I've never done dubbing. That's the first time tomorrow. Um, I've done some commercial work. Some commercials came out this year. Um, I was supposed to shoot a short this past February, and scheduling conflicts made it so that I had to drop out. Um, yeah, I did yeah. I've done so far this year. I've done a lot of commercial work and some in-house training and some voice work, and um, it's just it you know it's weird to say, but this is like my 15th or 16th year as an actor, as a consistent actor. Like I always get work. It comes in waves,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm just thinking back, like I don't know what the next project is. If it's voice, if it's something for a billboard, or I don't know. Especially since I'm self-represented, I don't have an agent. Um,
Yes, that to me is so cool, and why I think the audience wants to know more about you, because that's very rare not to have representation and a team behind you that's helping you with your career. So let's talk about that a little bit.
hmm,
How for you, you the casting calls and newspapers and the actual website, like how do you find your at the beginning it was through friends and people you knew, right? And then you kept going um with people knowing your work and calling upon you, and that's one way to do it, because some people think it's through social media or just through the agent getting you the gig, and you're somebody that's always gotten yourself the gig through your art, through your work. So I
hmm,
think that's pretty cool.
yeah. There's definitely a place for um, promoting or landing a gig through whatever social media. It doesn't matter. Um, that in a way, social media has given me a little bit of exposure, but like true, the real ways I get gigs or so on is like in the beginning. Yes, it was, I just volunteered to be a background actor. That's how I started acting. Um, and it snowballed from there. And like I'm proud to say, like, part of my, I don't know if it's calling card, or I know one thing for sure. And I'm proud of it. I have a very good reputation as an artist, or as a, you know working on a set. I have a reputation. I have a good reputation.
I know,
Um,
I can see that
and
when
I
you
think I think that, well, not that I think, I know that helps a lot, because I've had gigs where I never auditioned, I never applied, uh, and that happens. I don't want to say all the time, but in the past 15, 16 years, it has happened a lot. Um,
and
where
that
I've been,
speaks, that's star factor, and that's why you're one of the leaders of tomorrow in this next issue, because it's not just about fame and about like who you're working with, but yeah, you're right about your reputation and being steady and slow. I think a
mm,
lot of people have a trouble with that, where they feel like, why isn't it happening? And they don't understand how it really works
yeah,
to get to a level where, yeah, you're being called and you're not auditioning. And that's even rare for artists nowadays, too. People always have to do some type of auditioning in some format, no?
yeah,
Very
and
cool. Means that they
and
want you and they know you can do the job, and they don't have to mess around with all of that pre-planning and seeing. So that's a
yeah, and to be clear, like I do have to audition. Like I'm not that actor that never has to audition. It's just
yeah.
often I get offered stuff. Like just a quick example. Like last year, I applied I responded to a casting call for a French series, and I got called in and I auditioned, and I got really nice response, flattering stuff, and the role went to someone else.
Hmm.
So you know, personally, I just moved on. Um, and like 2 months later, I got this random email from casting in Montreal about this other series, and I didn't know anything about this. And I spent about 4 months roughly auditioning for different roles. They had me audition for whatever, a sporting role. I did that, flattering response. Well, we thought about it. Maybe you'd be good in this other role. Uh, and throughout that whole thing, like I've never asked for anything. I've never asked to be cast in anything. Like I've never asked, like, think about me if this comes up or if that comes up. I've never done that.
Oh,
I have a hard time doing that, just because it feels like I'm I know we all sell ourselves in a way, and it's
A
also as
lot
part
of
of
people do
it.
that. Yeah,
But I've never ever
it's
felt
not your
comfortable.
style.
I never have like asking if this role comes up, let me know. I'd love to do this, or I've never done that. So get back to my point, like getting called or not having an agent, or I got random stuff that comes up. So like this gig tomorrow, this just came up like 2 weeks ago. I didn't know anything about it, and so it's flattering, and it also keeps me really grounded because like no joke, I'll do this gig tomorrow, um, and guaranteed some part of me is gonna feel like, okay, this could be my last gig for whatever reason. Like
Oh, you
I
never
don't know.
know. So you
Yeah,
appreciate everything you'd get. Yeah.
yeah. Am I rambling? I feel like
No,
it.
I love it. Okay, I also want to ask you, what do you think sets your performance apart from from other artists? What is maybe some of your style of how you audition? Let's teach the audience a little bit more about that process of getting the gig and what that looks like and what it's looked like for you.
These questions are hard.
Well, these questions are for the leaders of tomorrow and to invoke inspiration and
Hmm.
to share people your true journey, not just the, hey guys, I'm on TV every day kind of thing. Yeah.
Um, I I wouldn't go as far as standing out. I can tell you that when I do commit to something, I'm all in. Uh, in particular, when it comes to art, acting, or anything else. Um, I I don't feel like I stand out more than any other actor, but I do, along with committing to a role or a project, I do my absolute best to be ready to prepare, and this varies because, as you know, some people in the industry know, like if you're doing commercial work or whatnot, anything outside of film, generally there's very limited um, descriptives on the character. There might not really be a storyline, just a storyboard or an outline, or um, but regardless of that, I do prepare a lot. Um, and I am always nervous to some degree when I'm
Yeah.
filming or shooting. Doesn't matter, and I know there's some good to that, being nervous. But yeah, I prepare mainly because I want to feel I don't want to feel as nervous as I could be if I wouldn't be prepared. But I want to be ready to. I've got enough experience at this point that I know for sure, almost for a fact, I'll probably have to improvise something. And I've had roles, I've been cast in stuff where I had no idea what I was going to do. Like I wasn't given information enough to prepare.
You
Kind of
just
knew
have to
what,
show up in the room and go. Wow.
yeah, kind of knew what they were looking for. I had a very broad, like maybe a one-liner about what the the ad was or the film was or whatnot. But um, I still did prepare in those instances where I had very little to work with. I was just prepared to improvise or,
Is that important, would you say, like sharing that with the audience? Because times on set, you can
yeah,
be all ready, uh, have your lines. They've said, okay, these are your lines. And then all of a sudden they come in. This is an experience I've had before, where they come
mm,
in and they don't want to do that. Or even like and there's actually no even time to practice. And they just say, okay, we're going to do this instead. And you have this in your mind, like, no, I practiced all this. What's going to happen? So being able to ebb and flow and be a
yeah,
real creator and actor on the spot as well and have techniques and things you want to say and like your character that you've created. If you don't
Mm,
have that, I've noticed then it's like, oh, what do I say? I don't know what to do. And that's kind of like those types of actors that just want to do exactly what's in the script, which I agree to. But
right.
finding that character you've been hired to do when
Yeah.
you are in it and like you said, very rehearsed, you can pivot and do things like that. So that is very important to hear that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And there are those like those moments where you have to abide by the script. And I'm thinking commercially right now because if you're delivering a particular message or uh, and what I'm thinking about commercially, I'm thinking about a project I did where I had to deliver like technical specs and there was a clear message that I had to deliver. This was a big international company. Um, but when I got there, and I was doing some French bits and some English bits, and so I knew my lines, I knew my character and so on. But when I got there, the director he thrived on improv.
ooh,
So so and like it was a long 2 days of shooting. It was fun, but it was demanding, especially going back and forth French and English. And but in every scene, he kept looking for improv. There were times where he'd say like, "Jason, I love what you did," and that third take in that scene in French. Could we do that in English? Like my mind was about to explode, but that was all improv. Like I couldn't prepare for that, but I prepared for what I had as material, and I was ready to improv. And the other aspect of not just being ready, but uh, like I respect people's time, and I appreciate when people respect my time. So uh, the fact that I can walk into, and I don't care if it's a no budget short film that were three people shoot. It doesn't matter if it's a if there's a $10 million budget and there's 100 crew that I don't care. I just want to know that I'm prepared and I can the least amount that I can waste. I don't want to waste people's time, basically. So, because it's happened so often that we're shooting a scene and those fleeting moments, maybe between takes, that I might look around and go out of character and remember that, yeah, there's like 50 people, like gaffers and lighting, and there's a bunch of people working on this, and everybody's depending on me or my co-actors to deliver. And um,
that's what
so
they're there
there's
for.
yeah, so in part that I want to at least show that I respect everybody's time. And it's acting, like we're not robots, so I might screw up a bunch of lines, or I might not be
On time.
whatever's happening in
Timing.
that moment. I might need a 15 minutes to step aside, whatever it is. But um, it for me, anyways, it's noticeable that when you are prepared, regardless if you're, can I swear on this?
No, being prepared is very, yeah,
Uh,
it's very
but
important.
if you screw up or whatever, but you're prepared, I noticed that people are fine with that. They respect that. They expect that. Um, and I've seen people that I've acted with or I've shared scenes with that are, maybe they are prepared. I don't know, but they don't seem prepared, and they're essentially wasting time because the director or everybody has to reset, and it goes on, and oftentimes it's preparation that's lacking, and that's
Mhm.
ultimately that can be seen as a little disrespectful. But so
Hmm.
yeah, I it's important for me
Was it
to somebody trusts me to hire me. at a bare minimum, I just want to be. I can do the work to be ready. Um, yeah.
That's a big thing. I can see when you speak, right? You have a lot of intention and you speak slow and you just mean so much what you're saying and I just love that about you. Like I think the way you are, right? Very sweet and innocent person. I feel kind of like that's very rare to see a pure heart. And
Mm.
yeah, I just love chatting about you with you about anything. It doesn't even matter about talking about how cool and
All right. Enough,
you are.
enough about me. Let's talk about you. Let's
Well, let's
switch things.
talk about the
Yeah.
magazine because you're wearing green for the audience. You guys, everybody who's the leaders of tomorrow, I've forced them and they've been willing. So that's the fun part about it, is that they're having fun with creating something new with me. And that's what we've been doing is kind of elevating the magazine a lot more. And he's wearing a very cute just kind of plain green shirt for me. And I gotta tell, yeah, every other person who's been doing interviews with me for the same section did the same thing. And I see that as respect. They want to play with me and have fun. So we've got a really great issue coming up. We have Chad Rook, who is a Vancouver known actor, Canadian wide. And you know, he came back to Calgary and we did a really cool shoot and he's in a really dope Zara green uh suit. So we kind of followed suit with that and Manjeet Minhas. And then we have Leela Ahir, who is really big deal in our area, who's a politician in Calgary as well. But we also have people like Ryan Reynolds and Jason K. Roy. So we have a lot of really great
Well,
people in this next issue to talk about inspiring people to become that leader one day. And it takes time. Anyone who's been in this section has been at this for over 10 years. And I'm so
mm,
honored that everybody sat with me to talk about all this. So the audience is going to get to see you and more of your story, and we're going to share you utmost online with your Q&A and more pictures. So we hope that the audience can keep following your journey. So when you have anything coming up or on set, you make sure you tag us in your stories and let the audience follow you a bit more, okay?
I'll do that. Thanks a lot, Jill.
Oh,
Very
thank
nice.
you so much for having us. Where can people follow you and follow your art, your website?
Yeah, that's probably the simplest thing.
It
JasonKroy.com. And
see
yeah,
see how you make it so simple on all of us. I just love that. Yeah, when you Google you, I was looking you up
it's
right
just
before we
because
were
I
doing the
want that.
interview, and lots
I
of
want
stuff comes up.
I want system in my life as much as I can have it.
Yeah. Well, you just moved to a new beautiful place. Hey, do you want to tell us about that before we let you go?
Well, I won't give you my GPS coordinates, but
Oh, they'll be knocking, on the door to hang out with you.
yeah, sure. But yeah, I was in Moncton, which is in Moncton, New Brunswick, our big yeah, our big metropolis in New Brunswick. But I moved from there 2 years ago. So I wanted a little bit of space, and it's almost impossible to own anything or buy anything these days. But a whole bunch of stars aligned, and yeah, I got a place in the country, and I'm not that far from Moncton. Um, and yeah, I got space, and I got nature everywheres, and I got deer and rabbits in the backyard, and I have electricity and running water, and
Ah, very good. You can have visitors, and you have your dog.
yeah, I might have been glancing outside every now and then, but yeah, like right now she's tangled up around the picnic table.
Well, she won't be very much longer. Thank you so much for having us and chatting. Thank you for letting us have you on our show again. And we will keep continuing to follow you in your career and just you're an example of being a good human being in this industry. So I love to share about you and what you're up to.
Thanks, Joe. You're very sweet. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You are too. Bye.
I enjoyed